Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We have the new roadmap with its list of features planned for Q1 2021 with Star Citizen Alpha 3.13. This patch should be live by the end of March 2021, and Cloud Imperium have said that they predict the next immediate quarter shown on the roadmap, and in this case what we're talking about is 3.13. They expect it to have around a 90% confidence of each individual feature given. The list isn't exhaustive either. There may be more features that appear in the future, and we'll know a lot more about that in January when they add some more teams to these roadmaps and expand on them slightly more. So let's have a look at those features listed first, and then some other potential content that we know Cloud Imperium are working on and they mention in their roadmap as well. The Hercules Starlifter C2 and M2 are both planned for that 3.13 branch, but actually as part of a 3.13.x build rather than the initial launch. So expect the A2 at a much later date, but this is a cargo ship that specialises in transporting large vehicles like the Nova Tank, which actually we know the Nova Tank is getting some work for Q2 2021 as well, so maybe we'll see it then. Force reactions are getting some updates to include staggers, which are partial losses of movement control, sort of knocking you around the ship and making you collide with the environment when a ship sort of suddenly moves or takes damage or you're in an explosion. And with that in mind, things that might cause you to get knocked around your ship, missiles and countermeasures. These should be receiving a much more refined balance and rework in 3.13, and we have a couple of features listed with that in mind. The old version of missile guidance and flight is changing out to use the IFCS guidance system and controls, so this will improve missile performance and tracking ability, enabling greater control over general missile behaviours. The original downside to that is it was quite server intensive or sort of tracking intensive, so let's hope that that's actually solved as well at the same time. Missiles will also now be controlled under a dedicated missile operator mode, which gives players the option to select and fire specific missiles when using their ship or vehicle, such as the Vanguard, which will allow for different types of missiles and torpedoes, and you want to be able to select them. A lot of players will be excited for vehicle names and serial numbers being added to the game, though we don't know to what level we're going to have customization of them at that stage. This is the ability for ships to display custom player assigned names, but also special serial numbers that will also be shown, and all other ships will have unique serial numbers displayed to identify them in the universe. There's visual wear and tear too. That's being added to player ships as they age and degrade. Ships will subtly visually change depending on how long they've existed in the verse, and assumedly where they've existed. We are getting two types of docking in 3.13 as well. Parasite docking, finally the ability for the Merlin snub ship to dock and undock with the Constellation. There's a guidance mode UI to ensure correct alignment during the docking process, and I believe that just like it finishes off with a little bit of an auto dock at the very end. Ship to station docking is here as well. Large ships will be able to dock at space stations. The air traffic control there will assign you docking ports where appropriate. This feature includes docking connectors and lobbies in space stations for large ships to connect to. There's also the ability to use mounted guns on vehicles and potentially on ground structures as well. The refinery areas are expanding out with non-commercial entrances at space stations. Just expect additional content in those areas, I suppose. They are doing additional polish and visual improvements and adding more assets to planets and moons of Stanton as well, so prettier planets. They always seem to be doing that from patch to patch. They are also adding additional asteroid variations. I would expect some additional asteroid tech here as well, making them look a lot better and more varied. We have two new cave entrance types, drive-in entrances allowing players to use a ground vehicle, and also sinkhole entrances which will require players to use a ship to enter and exit. As part of the hacking gameplay loop, they are working on back-end tech tasks related to creating the first pass of the hacking feature that will be used in the future locations and mission updates. This feature will be used to access systems and areas that have been previously closed to players. The hacking process will be represented via a mini-game that is displayed on the player's HUD visor. Obviously, we have the ability to use crypto keys on consoles in-game currently, but this is actually deeper gameplay, potentially partly associated with that. We have work on iCache in 3.13 as well, converting legacy data management systems. So this is the retargeting of all gameplay systems that use the legacy persistent data to now use the new iCache interface. This is in support of wider persistent streaming and server meshing initiatives, and it is not the full iCache feature, it is just work towards it. Very important work, but work. We will see updates to iCache on the roadmap in January as Cloud Imperium add their 9 core tech teams to the roadmap. As part of continuing additions to bounty hunting and the lore system, we are getting surrendering. That's back on the roadmap now, so basically you can be arrested without losing your life. Basically coming to a full stop in your ship when security forces have said, halt, you're under arrest, and then powering your ship off. That basically goes, bam, we know that you've surrendered, and they'll stop attacking you and arrest that criminal player. Bam, your ship will be impounded, and yeah, we don't know if you're going to be able to surrender on foot yet though, but this is a way that you can not lose your life. It'll be interesting to see if players actually decide to go along with that gameplay, because without more gameplay associated with that at that stage, well, why not just try and escape, even if you might lose your life in 3.13, so we'll have to wait and see if there's something else there. The roadmap has a new view, the progress tracker as well, which shows a huge range of features that Cloud Imperium's various teams are currently working on. And they've said that they're going to add additional teams and updates to this roadmap in January, potentially seeing some more features for the Q1 release, maybe. But we also know that there's various other things being worked on now and during Q1 2021, some of which could make that 3.13 release. And it is going to be a bit dependent on what the priorities are, and is there more work to be done on these features that we can't see on the roadmap yet. But I want to talk about those other potential sort of bits that we might see in 3.13, and at the very least it's nice to know what Cloud Imperium are working on at the same time, and that could be released very soon after 3.13. We have the first iteration of looting. This involves spawning weapons, bottles of water, med pens, and clothing at various locations that players can find, store, and use. New missions tasking players with delivering hazardous cargo to dangerous locations. Cargo will be damage sensitive and must be protected while outlaws attempt to destroy it. There's time delivery missions as well, with multiple drops and varied timers, requiring players to prioritize drops and plan routes to ensure all packages are delivered on time, with both local and long distance deliveries included. Spawn closets. These are areas that allow entities such as NPCs to spawn in areas outside of the player's view and despawn as well. These will be used to support missions, location populations, and security responses. There's the security network system, allowing security features to know if a player is trespassing without having to assign them a criminal rating. This also tracks criminal sightings. Updating emergency outposts as a proof of concept for new dynamic interior environments. This includes allowing players to use the multi-tool tractor beam, thanks to the addition of interactable props and consumables, and assumedly just allowing them to be used in armistice zones and areas like that as well. There's work on the dynamic mission system that will allow select missions to be dynamically tailored to the current environment and quantum at a later date. These missions will be customizable, and payment will accurately reflect the distance travelled and risk involved. They also plan to have one-shot triggers and runs of certain missions for players, and to do that mission again, you potentially have to join another player doing that mission. A new service that will continuously track the position of players, NPCs, and other entities is also being worked on, so that the live service tools can display and track them properly in real time. There's an economy pass, a reputation UI, which will include a list of reputation ranks, including those that have been completed and ones that are actively being worked on. They're bringing the Aegis, Retaliator, and Gladius, as well as the Vandal fleet, up to gold standard. Weapon capacitors as well, so players will have the ability to manage the amount of extra energy that goes into their weapons, making critical decisions on the distribution of energy in order to defend, attack, or just run away. And that's it for Alpha 3.13 and the look at that Q1 2021 roadmap. It's currently listed features and potential content. There is a lot of potential content in that patch, and we're going to have a bit more of an idea in January exactly what extra bits might make it as they add the downstream teams and sort of like build up the roadmap a little bit more. But it's looking pretty good. There were a few unannounced features as well that showed work, but we don't know what they are yet because they're literally listed as an unannounced feature. But what do you think? Are you excited for the content in Alpha 3.13 and the Q1 2021 roadmap? Are you worried that it will all get delayed? Do you like the new roadmap? Do you wish they would have something in 3.13 that wasn't there? I'm hoping we see the Taurus, for example, but whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Shipmas! We're giving away a Mercury Star Runner in December because it's Christmas and we do it every month anyway. Zin, put a Mercury Star Runner in my hand because that's what we're giving away, and put a hat on it, like a Christmas hat. There you go. That's animation for you, potentially. I just moved my hand around. So just comment on any one of my videos during the month of December to be in for a chance of winning that. Also, maybe give someone special the gift that keeps on giving. I'm talking, of course, about NordVPN. Links below. Also, don't forget Shadow. They do cloud-based gaming stuff, so you can get that as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Click the YouTube join button, like and subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Thanks for supporting the channel. Merry Christmas. Oh, oh, oh. Mercury Star Runner.